Open All Night, a short story by L.D. Roberts. A strong wind blows through the night, a Santa Ana wind, hot, sticky, relentless. The devil's breath, her mother called it. Los Angelinos hate it. It's hard to breathe, makes you itchy like ants are scurrying under your skin. After 2 weeks, mothers begin backhanding mild-mannered children for spilling their milk, then stare at their hand in disbelief. She grunts as she opens the window all the way. No screen. She leans onto the sill and stares out. 2:31 a.m. The streetlights are only 10 feet apart, lighting the road like Christmas. Angelinos are terrified of crime. They believe illuminating the darkness will keep them safe from Manson, the Night Stalker, the serial killer du jour. Los Angeles can always count on having at least one serial killer. There are always slain and missing girls. It's a $1 million industry feeding on morbid curiosity and despair. The streetlights obliterate the stars, giving the night an eerie glow. In the distance, there is an insistent whine of a siren. The neighbor's black lab has been barking all night. He, too, restless and wary. TV images jump and blur from the Nelson's Bay window across the street. Harold fell asleep with the TV on, again. The rap song, with a continuous beat and haughty anger, provides a soundtrack. Los Angeles refuses to sleep, stuck in a restless collective waiting, yearning for the wind to disappear and leave them alone in their smoggy sunshine. Emily goes back to bed, tries to sleep, stares at the ceiling, listening to David snore. Frustrated, she gives up, throws off the covers, pulls on her jeans and a hoodie, slips on her tennis shoes. She doesn't bother to brush her long blonde hair. She closes the bedroom door softly behind her. Her feet know the route. She walks it in the dark often. She turns right on the corner and down 3 blocks. She grabs the sticky metal handle, pulls open the door, and blinks from the glare of the fluorescent lights. The convenience store is full of lottery tickets, advertisements. Girls dressed in pink, skimpy outfits stare out from the covers of Korean magazines. Soda flavors of melon and blueberry fill the refrigerator. Bags of lychee nuts and seaweed chips line the shelves. The store is small and narrow. Cardboard boxes fill the floor, some coated in a thin film of gray dust. Behind the counter, Will looks up from his book. Tall, thin, with brown hair, dark eyes, and a bright smile. His shoulders are relaxed, jaw unclenched. She likes this Will better than the tense one she is used to. Santa Anas are still with us, he says, closing his book. Can't sleep. You and half the city, he says. It'll cool down soon and then you'll sleep. They both know he is being kind. She doesn't sleep much. She grabs an empty plastic milk crate, turns it on its side, opens the refrigerator with one hand, and grabs a Diet Pepsi. From months of practice, she balances perfectly on the small surface of the milk crate. What are you reading? She asks. He holds up a paperback with a heavily armed soldier on the cover. It's great to read for pleasure again. When I picked up the book, I grabbed a yellow highlighter to take notes. Then I realized I could just read it, enjoy it, and not have to remember anything. She smiles. He is waiting for bar results. He took the 3-day test months ago and still has to wait 6 more weeks for results. Every day he waits must seem like a year. But he is calm, enjoying the break, allowing himself to relax after 3 grueling years of study. How are you? He asks. She shrugs, unsure if she wants to talk tonight. Some nights they chatter for hours. Other nights she drinks her Diet Pepsi while he reads. She's never seen a customer and has always wondered why the owner pays to keep the store open all night. The store feels safe, far removed from everyday life. She wants to tell him, but she knows that once the words come out of her mouth, it will be real. You have 6 more weeks to wait for results. In the meantime, are you going to go on a vacation? I always wanted to see the backwaters, up near Minnesota. Miles and miles of rivers and no one around. He looks through the front window as if he can see the river flowing outside the door. Sounds great. When would you go? Haven't decided yet. I can go any time. The thought of him leaving splits her in two. She looks forward to being here in the middle of the night, the two of them in their own world. There is an intimacy about it she has never felt with David. I couldn't have gotten through the bar without you. I didn't do anything. You did all the work. Whenever I got tired or discouraged, you told me I could do it. You can. He looks at her pale, drawn face, the purple under each eye like bruises. Each time she comes in, she looks more haggard. Her straight blonde hair is sticking to the sides of her head. Her hazel eyes are puffy from lack of sleep. She looks like a 40-year-old single mother, beaten down by life, not the happy 31-year-old he knows. When are you going to tell me what's wrong? It's a long story, she says. He glances at the clock. It's 3:30 a.m. I don't get off till 6. I have time for a very long story. Okay. For Christmas, my sister Rhonda gave everyone in the family a DNA test. She said her neighbor did it and found out she was 3/4 Scottish. I don't understand why anyone would care, but it seems important to Rhonda to keep up with the neighbors. My mom, my brother, and Rhonda took the kids home, completed the forms, spit into boxes, and sent them to the company. I didn't do it. I like my privacy. What happens if Amazon buys the company? Then they have my DNA. Who knows what they'll use it for? Rhonda kept calling and texting. You're the only one who hasn't done it. Emily shakes her head. Like it was a test, not a present, and I had no choice. Did you give in? No, I didn't. She had a family party. Kept one of my Diet Pepsi cans. Paid extra to have him lift the DNA off the can. Then forged my signature on the form and sent it back to the company. I didn't know anything about it. 2 months ago, I get a letter. You know the type. Big bold letters that say, open immediately. The type everyone throws away first, he says. She nods. I threw it away. They kept coming, and finally one came that needed a signature. I went to the post office to sign for it. It was from this company, Ancestry 230. It had the results of my test. I share DNA with my mother, but not my father. I have no idea who my father is. That must have been rough to find out. Honestly, I wasn't that surprised. I'm the youngest. My father always treated me like an afterthought. Rhonda was always perfect, and I could never do anything right. It all made a weird kind of sense. Do you think your father knew? I think he suspected. Doesn't matter. He died 2 years ago. The letter went on to say they found a genetic abnormality. They suggested I get genetic counseling and testing as soon as possible. It had a phone number to a testing site. She swallows a mouthful of Diet Pepsi. I thought it was all crap. Just a scam to scare me and make money. I shoved the letter in a drawer and forgot all about it. A few months ago, I began getting nosebleeds. Thought it was the dry air, but I kept having them. I went to my doctor, took the letter. She ran a bunch of tests. She stares at the bold letters on the Diet Pepsi can, takes a deep breath, looks up, hesitates, not wanting to make it real. I have Huntington's chorea. She has said it out loud. It is out. She looks around the store and begins to laugh. I have Huntington's chorea, and I told you in a Korean convenience store. He moves under the camera, throws a hand towel over the lens, comes around the corner, gets on his knees behind her, and wraps both his arms around her. She leans back into him and cries softly. Tears drip onto his arms. She stops crying. He gets up, walks back around the counter. I'm so sorry. Why are you sorry? I shouldn't burden you with this. How long before it gets really bad? They don't know for sure. I have a severe case. The doctor thinks I have about 2 years. What did David say? I didn't tell him. He cocks his head, gives her a puzzled look. He has been so cold and distant. I think he is having an affair. An affair? You have only been married 1.5 years. I think he regrets getting married. He has a way of making me feel bad about everything. Somehow he's going to make this all my fault. Sounds like you married a narcissistic asshole, he says before he can stop himself. He waits for her to defend him. Yes, I think I did. They sit in silence, listening to the hum from the lights, the drone of the refrigerator motors. Why don't you come with me on my vacation? I can't just leave my life. Why not? What about my family? It would put them through hell. Probably. She is small, petite, and blonde, a media darling. In her mind, she sees the posters, the choked sobs, and the TV appearances. Rhonda coming alive in the spotlight, having to be reminded to look sad. Her brother Ben refusing to leave work because he is just so busy. Her mother lost, hiding her secrets. David, the number one suspect, because it's always the husband. His mistress, whoever she is, exposed to the world. Screw him, she thinks, as a delicious wickedness spreads through her. You don't want to take care of me. Why don't we go on vacation for a while and see how we feel after that? She looks down at her torn jeans, pink hoodie, white tennis shoes. I don't have anything, not even my phone. He raises his eyebrows. His mind races as he tries on and discards possibilities. Perfect, no phone to trace. What will we do for money? I have a little bit saved, and I got a check for $5,000 as a graduation present from my uncle. He gets up, pulls the towel off the camera, and uses it to polish the camera lens. You'll get in trouble. The police will find camera footage from all the times I've been in. I don't think so. We keep it a week, and you haven't been in for about 10 days. Should be okay. In that instant, they become co-conspirators. In a soft whisper, he says, "Go use the bathroom. Come out, look directly into the camera. Pay for your Diet Pepsi and snacks. Go out the door. Pretend you have to tie your shoe. Tie it. Look up directly into the camera, outside the door. Walk down the street. 2 blocks down is a bus stop. It is 5:38 a.m. A bus should be by in about 10 minutes. It will take you to Hamilton Street. Get off the bus. Go left 2 blocks to the strip mall. Turn right. At the end of the mall is a Mexican restaurant, Anita's. I eat there often. The owner can't afford a camera. Wait for me." She nods, looks up at the camera, walks out the door. She follows his instructions, gets on the crowded, dirty bus, walks, till she finds Anita's. The restaurant has 6 Formica tables with wooden chairs. Menu is on the chalkboard behind the counter. Everything is written in Spanish, with broken English underneath. Coffee is brewing in a large pot on the counter. "Hola," says the woman behind the counter. She has a round face. Her big grin shows missing teeth. Her black hair is pulled back in a tight ponytail. She could be 40 or 60. She points at the coffee pot. Emily nods her head. She goes over, pours herself a cup, adds milk, sits at the table watching the workers scurry around the kitchen. Will waves as he comes through the back screen door. He grabs the woman at the counter in a bear hug. She hugs him back, kisses both cheeks. He bends down, presses something in her hand, then puts his fingers to his lips. She nods. He beckons to Emily. She walks toward him. Together they walk out the back door into the morning. He reaches for her hand as they walk down a street filled with manicured lawns and huge stone porches. She opens the door to his car, slides into the front seat. At 6:24 a.m. on a Thursday morning, Emily Hawkins becomes one of LA's missing. At this time tomorrow, the media frenzy will begin. If you enjoyed listening to my story, please hit like and subscribe and leave a comment so my team and I can continue to record these stories for your enjoyment.